You know that box of baking soda sitting in your kitchen cabinet? Yeah, we've all grabbed it for heartburn. It's that quick, reliable fix. But what if I told you that's maybe 5% of what it can really do? The real power of this stuff is something most of us totally miss, and it gets way more important as we get older. So today we're going to uncover that secret hiding in plain sight.
Look, heartburn is one thing. We get it. But what if that same box could actually have an impact on something as agonizing as kidney stones? Or the searing pain of a gout attack? And what if it held the answer to that weird, chronic itch that you just can't seem to get rid of? On the surface, these things have nothing to do with each other. But they do. And we're about to connect all the dots.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll dive into that kitchen cabinet secret. Then, we'll talk about the single underlying issue, your body's acid problem. From there, we'll hit the big three: kidneys, joints, and skin. We'll wrap up with a few quick everyday fixes, and then, finally, put it all together.
Okay, let's kick things off by just reframing what baking soda really is. Try to stop thinking about it as a little Band-Aid you use after a spicy meal. Instead, think of it as a powerful tool for managing problems that have been slowly, quietly building up in your body for years.
So what is the grand unifying theory here? How does all this connect? Well, it all boils down to one simple concept. As we age, our body just isn't as good at managing its own internal acid levels. That's it. This one little shift is the hidden root cause, the common thread that links all these seemingly random issues in your kidneys, your joints, and yep, even your skin.
Here's exactly how it happens. You eat certain foods, think red meat, shellfish, even a lot of sugar, and your body produces a waste product called uric acid. Now, when we're younger, our kidneys are champs at just flushing the stuff out, no problem. But over the years, they get a little less efficient. And when they can't keep up, that uric acid starts to build up. And it changes. It goes from being a harmless liquid into these sharp, microscopic, needle-like crystals. And that right there is where all the trouble starts.
These little crystals are the villains of our story today, and they tend to cause chaos in three main areas, what I like to call the big three. Let's start with ground zero, the place where the problem really begins: your kidneys. You know, we tend to think of kidney stones as just horrible, random luck, but they are not random at all. They are the direct result of those sharp little uric acid crystals sticking together and forming solid rocks. And why did they do that? Because the environment, your urine, has become too acidic, and they can no longer stay dissolved. And this is where the solution is just so simple, it's almost beautiful. When you dissolve a little bit of baking soda in water, you gently nudge your urine to become less acidic. In that less acidic, friendlier environment, the uric acid literally can't form into crystals. It just stays dissolved, harmless, and your kidneys can finally do their job and flush it right out. Easy.
So how do you actually do it? It's really simple. Just a quarter of a teaspoon of baking soda in a glass of water, stir it up till it's totally dissolved, and then drink it once a day. Now here's a really important detail. Drink it between meals, not with a meal. You want it working on your whole system, not just neutralizing the stomach acid you need to digest your food.
Okay, stop. This is a huge, important warning. Baking soda is sodium bicarbonate. The key word there is sodium. If you have high blood pressure, any heart issues, or you already know you have kidney problems, you absolutely must talk to your doctor before you even think about trying this. Seriously, this is non-negotiable.
Now, think about those little crystals again. What happens when they decide to set up shop somewhere else in the body? This quote just says it all. It's the same problem, just happening somewhere else. Instead of your kidneys, now they're in your joints. And we have a name for that: gout.
Gout is what happens when those needle-sharp crystals get stuck in a joint. The big toe is the classic spot. Your immune system sees these crystals and freaks out. It thinks they're foreign invaders and launches a massive attack. That attack is the inflammation, the heat, the swelling, and that unbelievable throbbing pain that's so bad, people say even the weight of a bedsheet is just too much to bear.
Now, if you're in the middle of a bad flare-up, you can try dissolving half a teaspoon of baking soda in water. What this does is it makes your whole body a little less acidic. It won't get rid of the crystals that are already there, but it can slow down the formation of new ones. It's a way to kind of take the edge off and give your body a fighting chance to calm down. But let me be, well, crystal clear about this. This is a temporary fix. It is not a cure for gout, and it is definitely not a replacement for seeing your doctor. The real, long-term game plan for managing gout is all about lifestyle. Cutting back on the things that make all that uric acid in the first place, like sugar and alcohol, and drinking plenty of plain old water.
Okay, Our final stop in the big three is the one that surprises most people: a deep, unrelenting itch. For some people with kidney problems, this isn't just dry skin. It's an itch that no cream or lotion can fix because the problem isn't your skin. Your skin is just the messenger, sending out an alarm signal for a much deeper issue.
So here's the link. When your kidneys are struggling, they can't filter all the acid out of your blood properly. So that acid level starts to rise throughout your whole body. And what does that acidic blood do? It irritates all the tiny little nerve endings in your skin, which then fire off that constant maddening signal to your brain that says, itch. Your body is basically screaming at you that its internal chemistry is out of whack.
And this brings us to our most critical warning of all. I really need you to hear this, because the kidneys are already struggling. Messing with your sodium levels without a doctor's guidance can be incredibly dangerous. You could actually put more strain on them and make things worse. So please, do not try to treat this on your own. This is a conversation you absolutely have to have with your doctor.
All right, after all that serious talk, let's switch gears and do a quick bonus round. We've covered the big, deep-seated issues. Now let's look at 3 super common, everyday problems where that same acid-neutralizing power can save the day.
First up, the old classic, acid reflux. You've got stomach acid splashing up where it doesn't belong, and it burns. Baking soda is a base, acid's natural enemy. It neutralizes it on contact, and you get relief like right now. But, and this is a big one, this is for occasional use. You need your stomach acid to digest food, so you don't want to be shutting it down every day.
Next up, UTIs. The bacteria that cause these infections absolutely love an acidic environment. So, if you make your urine less acidic with a little baking soda, you're making your urinary tract a much less friendly place for them to grow and multiply. This can be super helpful right when you feel that first little twinge. But to be clear, this isn't an antibiotic. If you've got a real infection, you've still got to see a doctor.
And finally, your mouth. The bacteria in your mouth eat sugar and produce acid as waste. That acid is what eats away at your tooth enamel and causes cavities. By brushing gently with a bit of baking soda a few times a week, you can neutralize that acid right at the source. Just think of it as an extra layer of defense, not a replacement for your regular fluoride toothpaste. So, let's step back and put this all together. We've jumped from kidneys to joints to skin to the stomach. It seems all over the place, but it's not. It's really just one story, told in a few different ways. One single problem, met with one simple solution.
I mean, just look at how it all lines up. For the kidneys and joints, the problem is acid-forming crystals. For the skin, it's acidic blood irritating nerves. In your stomach, it's escaping acid. In your bladder, it's an acidic environment helping bacteria. And in your mouth, it's acid eroding your enamel. And what's the solution every single time? Neutralize the acid. It's the same simple mechanism applied in 5 completely different areas of the body.
And really, that's the big idea I want to leave you with. Your body is constantly sending you signals. A little ache, a burn, a persistent itch. It's so easy to just slap a Band-Aid on the symptom. But I want to encourage you to ask a different question. What's the why behind that signal? Because when you start to understand the root cause, that is when you can start to find real, lasting solutions.